Hey everybody, this is Mother F. Ross coming from the belly of the Sarlacc on our podcast. We're talking about the Mandalorian this week. So I'm here with Tony Lamarr.
Yep, we got me, Tony Lamarr, out here in Austin, Texas. I'm so happy to be here for another edition of the Belly of the Sarlacc. I love it. I'm so happy to be back. We have a really exciting week in Star Wars. I mean, we're going to touch real quick. We are going to talk about The Mandalorian, but let me just drop some Star Wars news or just a quick discussion. We're not going to go too crazy about it, but we have to talk about what Lucasfilm Limited released this week at the Disney Investors Day. They dropped just Star Wars. You want to know what's going on with Star Wars? Let's talk real quick. Now, Ross, what do you know about this week's announcements? What just by the buzz in your world? What did you pick up?
I looked into a little bit of it. Like, I love the trailer for Rogue Squadron, but I don't really look any further into it than that. One thing I'll say about the trailer that I really liked is the fact that it was the director explaining why she deserves to direct that project. And she absolutely earned my faith. I believe it's going to be a good film because of the angle she's coming at it from and the respect she has for flight. You know what I mean? And this is all about the squadron, so. And now I don't know how they're going to do the Luke thing. That has me a little concerned if they're just going to. I hope they leave him out altogether, to be honest. I know he helped create it, but there are adventures they can tell without.
So here's
him,
the thing, yeah.
That's what they're doing.
Well, here's a good question. So you're thinking they're doing based off the books, or not doing things separate?
I don't know what they're doing, and honestly, I've got the faith that she's doing something she's passionate about, and so I'm on board. I'm looking forward to seeing whatever it ends up being. But like I'm saying, I'm just not really worried about them using Luke. Well, I'm not hoping that they don't use Luke, or if they do, like, come up with something creative. Use him in like those hologram images so that it's not a perfect thing, so they don't need to worry about having this perfect de-aging process, because it always looks so crappy. In the Rise of Skywalker, it looked ridiculous, the young Luke and young Leia, and I don't think it was necessary. I know they're trying to explain everything and they're trying to wrap everything
But
up.
who at this point, who knows? But you made a good point about there's a history with this title alone. But the question is Disney going to go with the legacy or start from scratch, which they can pretty much do, because they made this storyline, I believe, is legend. So it's not part of the Star Wars timeline that Lucasfilm is now following. So who knows? I don't know. It's too early. It was just more of a surprise announcement. And that's the only movie that they're talking about. And this doesn't come out to December 2023. All right? So we got some time. So at least they're saying, hey, we're taking our time. We're going to work on this. And so what I do love about this, that I think this is the beginning of them letting go of Skywalker. I believe they're going to do. I feel they're going to do something different. I have no idea. It's just they're trying to do something with the films. They only got one Star Wars film coming out in the next 3 years. That tells me they're putting their focus on, which I really want to talk about, is Disney Plus. Disney is trying to make sure you have something that's Star Wars related, not every month, but at least throughout the year, you're getting some Star Wars stuff. And this is going to keep just the Star Wars fans happy and stay on the Disney Plus. Let's talk about these titles. Let's talk about the titles and see what you know about.
Well, that's something I wanted. You were like almost going to just completely. You said that they're looking to break away from Skywalker, and yet on the other hand, they're clinging to Skywalker with Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor reprising their roles in
great
the
thing to
Obi-Wan
point out,
series.
because here's the thing with that. That's not going to be a continuous story. That's like a one-off event. They're saying like 6 episodes in just a short timeline, because what are they going to cover? Who knows? But you are right. But that's TV. Their focus on the movies are going to get the a new audience going to the theaters. This whole structure is to keep the fanboys at ease. Not like we're at their beck and call, but there is a source of fans that buy into Star Wars, and we gotta give them something, or they're going to go elsewhere.
Well, and that's fine. Everything doesn't need to be made specifically for me. So it's fine if there's certain things that are just like, like the Ewok Adventure. That was never targeted at my audience.
Yeah.
Where I was. And I'm fine with that. I don't have any problem with it. I never watched it. It is what it is. So I'm cool with this being whatever it is, good or bad. I don't really care. So that's okay, you know.
And so at least titles they're talking about are going to be, some of these episodes are going to tie into The Mandalorian, which is the Rangers of the New Republic, and also Ahsoka, which will cover, I'm saying, it's going to come from The Mandalorian, which is they mentioned General Thrawn. So that's going to be Ahsoka and Thrawn. That's going to be that series about. So that's what most people are excited about, is going to be Ahsoka and the Rangers of the New Republic. And of course, Andor, from the guy from Rogue One, hear his story. But as you mentioned,
what's his project called?
Andor is the guy Casey Andor.
It's just called Andor. Okay,
It's called Andor.
I do remember seeing that on there.
And all I know is it's going to be about him becoming, how he got involved, telling his story. So,
yeah, absolutely.
And this one here should be more like, I want to say, spy intrigue. Let's really see all the, this to me would be great, like a political show, to see let's see what's really going on behind the scenes, as far as how the rebellion's involved and all the insights of what's going on the Empire. This has potential. So you can see an idea of each of these shows have something different from the previous one, just to get somebody's interest. And you're right. I'm right there with you. Obi-Wan Kenobi is directed to the older fanboys from back in the day. They want more Anakin. They want more. They want to see some things that wasn't a great opportunity to fill in some plot holes. Maybe, who knows? A chance to really let's put a little more in there. Let's get the laugh out. And what better choice than you have? Everybody else is dying out. Harrison Ford's not going to do anything, and so you got a character who's from that world. Let's do something with it. So I'm behind it. It could flop, who knows? But they're only doing 6 episodes, and that's a one-off, and that's it. And then you got the Bad Batch, which is another play off the Clone Wars. I'm not really into it. And then you have Star Wars Visions, which is more of taking storytellers like, hey, Ross, do the cantina scene again for us, and do it the way you think it should be done. They'll be like that kind of storytelling with Star Wars Visions. And then also Lando, which hasn't been cleared if it's going to be a cartoon or the live action. All we know that they announced this as being coming out.
It's just going to be one long malt liquor commercial.
Yeah, well, hey, you know what? Sorry, everybody knows Lando's one of my favorite characters. Am I excited about this? Not really. I don't know. Sorry. That might be a surprise, but I'm afraid they're gonna do them wrong. I don't think it's the only show that I'm concerned. I'm hopefully he's in good hands. This is just me saying, please don't. I really like what they had at Lando. He's awesome, and I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Okay, yeah, and they haven't given much information, so it's not like there's a lot to be excited about. So makes sense.
Yeah, and then the one I think you would be interested in is The Accolade, which is going to look on the dark side of the Force from a different point of view, as we would say in the Star Wars universe.
That depends on how they approach it.
Mm-hmm.
If they, if they do it right, it can be really awesome, really dark, and really great. But I don't know. I fear them. It's Disney. So I kind of fear them pulling their punches. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong, and I'm glad to be wrong on this one.
Well, here's the thing. You got a good point to make there. Disney understands that what kind of IP they have with Star Wars. Now, they're not expecting ultra violence, whatever, but you get your arm cut off in Star Wars. They did it even in their version. People got their arms cut off. Mm-hmm. So they're not going to go that far. I mean, dark. When they show kids getting massacred, they didn't even do it with the original Star Wars movie. So I think they know what the limits of what Star Wars fans expect from them. So what I'm expecting here is a good story of just, let's see what's it like to be on the dark side. Let's see their point of view. I'm very interested in this one. So this one we'll follow and see. And this is what I have. I would say of all the Star Wars shows I'm interested in most, I would say The Acolyte. I had very little, but just the fact it's a dark side story, and I'm just something different. I'm happy about that.
No, I would be thrilled with it if they do it right. Like I said, it'll be one of the best things ever, but we'll see what happens. The only thing I'm really excited by right now is the Rogue Squadron.
And they're right to do that. They didn't do anything like the Knights of the Old Republic. It's something that you expect. I guarantee you would thought that's what they're going to drop. But hopefully this to me is encouraging, and let's try to recover the mess up that we did. Please forgive us for these last 3 episodes. So let's try something new, which I'm happy for. Because see, here's the thing. The Disney Plus is the way to go. That's where they're switching. Their whole game plan is to go online only. So they're doing it right. They kicked it off with Mandalorian, which I cannot wait to talk about that. They're still going to do a season 3 to season 4, and you know what? I am happy to hear that because they've done this. I think anything Lucasfilms touches, this is the best thing they've done. We keep saying it over and over, and let's go right and go into that episode. Ross, Mandalorian, episode number, 14, 13?
You know what? I should have wrote that down. I don't remember. It was The Believer.
Okay,
I think it's episode. Is it Din? Is it Din that's the Justin Bieber fan, or which one? Who is it?
Din is a Justin Bieber fan.
Well, that was the title, right? The Believers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was trying to play stupid. Yeah, okay.
No, I really enjoyed from the beginning, like when they start the opening shot with Mayfield working in the TIE Fighter scrapyard, which mirrors really well Cal Kestis at the beginning of Fallen Order working in the Star Destroyer scrapyard.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, they're tying it into more of their universe, which is cool. I like that angle. They repurposed the walkers as cranes, which makes perfect sense.
Yeah, was they done it earlier? They did in episode 3. They did this. They had the same thing, doing it, pulling the ship out of the water.
Right. So fished them out of the water. Exactly.
Yeah, the repurposing the Empire. Absolutely. Yes, that's freaking badass. Yes.
Because the universe would move on. They would take what they could. They'd salvage what they could. The more intact it was, the better. And they would just repurpose it for what's practical. If you don't need to be shooting at people, get to lift stuff.
And here's a cool thing. And then we come to a character that we all know, Mayfield. I mean, he's back. And Bill Burr plays that character back. Well, say this. Not jumping too ahead, but I was really impressed. One of the characters they brought back, I like this character. I thought he was great in that prison episode. I really got a kick out of Bill Burr's performance. So I was happy to see him again because I was expecting that humor, which I really liked. And he really, we knew who he was, Bill Burr, but he was doing a character, and it worked for me. And it continued on, if not even better, in this episode.
Well, it goes back to something I heard Michael Roker say about his character in Walking Dead, because he was really only in that, a portion of that one episode. He really wasn't a featured character. But he said, doesn't matter how small the role is, bring your A game, because you never know what that could turn into.
Absolutely.
And he was absolutely right. And here we go again.
And I tell you what, though. I don't care what anybody says. When he came up to that ship and saw Boba Fett, and Boba Fett was all...
He's like, upgraded. For a second I thought you were, this guy over here, all right.
The thing was so cool that he was ready to fix his armor. He was ready, because I don't care, everybody said, well, how fast did he fix it? Now think about it, you know what? If he knew he was going to get his armor back, he had everything to make this stuff good. He was happy seeing armor, he was happy to fix it up, and it looked awesome. And he was
going to honor his father by doing right by the armor.
Absolutely. So he's going to make it look badass. I'm very happy to see him in the Boba Fett. It looks cool. I love it.
Absolutely. But even before we got there, I love when Mayfield, Kara's like, okay, I'm taking him. He's like, what? No, where are you taking me? You know what I mean? Just knowing anything else they have in mind from his current position would probably be worse. And he's just like, you know what? I'm happy where I am. Just leave me alone,
Yeah, because you have no idea. Exactly. Yeah, you're right.
And then he finds out that he might maybe get an upgrade in his sentence. That's the best that he was hoping for.
Hey, you never know. He may have the opportunity for me to escape. You never know, but definitely, the Dirty Dozen kind of idea. You have no choice. Just do the best of it. It was totally right. Dirty Dozen kind of. And
use the right people for the job, which he absolutely was the right person to try and get that job done.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though he spends all of his time bitching and complaining. trying to get Din to take off his mask.
Come on, take it off for me. Take it off. Take it off.
I love Fett where he's like, yeah, they might recognize my face. He's just like, oh, I'm better off not going anywhere near there.
Absolutely. That was still funny, though, because everybody went down the line like, I can't do it. And like,
I'm not going to do it. Let's get Mikey.
Pretty much. But it was pretty clever how they, okay, he'll just put on a different uniform. But I'll give you this. It takes a comedian to make a joke about it. Bill Burr, they knew who to pull, man, because he was talking so much smack about putting on those uniforms all sweaty, because no one ever complains about it. In any of the Star Wars, they just put the gear on and do the mission. Like, this is all
his
wet.
Gloves are still wet. Yeah, that was so perfect.
I love that. That's what that's what they need, a comic and that. Yeah, funny. I love it. I thought it was so funny.
And I love this question of what is the, is it that you can't take off your helmet or you can't show your face? And if he can't show his face, how intense is that? Can he not take his helmet off even in private? Like, where is the boundaries on that?
It was a valid question because he right there he proved it. It's not about he has to wear the Mandalorian helmet or the Beskar helmet. It's just the fact of covering up your face because he had no problem switching in it. But at the same time, as Mayfield pointed out, you do things when you're desperate.
Yes.
So it proved right there for him. You saw how already he's really
your limits change when you're pushed to the edge, 100%.
And then right there from the jump, he already said, "I'm going to do." He knew what he was going to have to do. He already made it change. So he's like, "Is he bending the rules point of view, or is it true? Am I just not supposed to show my face?" Because he had no problem doing it at a drop of a hat. The only time he had hesitation, and if I'm jumping ahead, I'm sorry, is just when he had to go do what he do later on. So I'm just putting it out there now. So it's definitely. Where was I going with this?
No, I'll say this. There was a great line in another license that I had that said, "Stand in the ashes of 1,000 dead souls and ask them how important honor is." You know what I mean? This kid is more important than your little fucking rules, and which is something I'm going to get to it later. But there's something that I really like that both Moff Gideon and Din Djarin both said, like almost word for word. And it's interesting how it turned like that. But I like the fact that when they did have him take this helmet off for the scanner, for the face scanner thing, like that's what I was talking about last season. The idea of making up, oh, well, you were wounded in the arm, so I need you to take off your helmet so I can treat your arm. That's stupid. Like, that didn't even make sense. And so it was unnecessary. Now they're at a point where it's like, literally, what is your limit now? You have no choice. You have to do this. And they gave him a whole scene without his mask. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it actually worked perfectly. And it fit in the story. And it's like, that's what I'm talking about. Just have the patience to do it right. It's not like you can never take it off.
And maybe they learned from that experience with season 1. Because I agree with you. It was a cheap way of working around it. It should have been played more into the role. But I got a problem. We jumped over it, but I got to pull back a little bit. My problem is still the screen, that scanner. So you're telling me
it doesn't do facial recognition? How cheap is their technology?
No, not even that. But the idea of it is it's scanning for people that they're looking for. So they're not looking for you. It will work on you. So that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. If I'm wrong, please correct me if I'm saying this.
See, that wouldn't even make sense because the point of it, you're accessing information.
Yeah.
So in a sense, you don't want it to be any bad people, but you also want to make sure it's somebody that's authorized to access that info.
And that's not.
It would have to be a facial recognition that would match it to the database and be like, oh, this is TK111. He can do it. Yes. Boom. Now you're in.
But that's not it. Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that it was just to scan it just to make sure you had a face, that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
So I guess so droids can't access it or something, but they have another workaround. So.
But it's just that's the only problem with it. I'm trying to nitpick, but I was like, this is where one of the big bosses. I can just look him up like a Facebook GPS and I want to take him out real quick. That information should be that easily available for any grunt gas truck driver to get information. So yeah, I got problems.
Hey, if we're gonna get into that, the little scene where they're running up to the place where they're having that little fight outside, which is really cool. I love that moving fight. Mm-hmm. And but when they threw the thermal detonators, when they started using those, I always expected something called a thermal detonator to have a little bit of a bigger explosion.
Yeah. Yes.
Like, it was wimpy at best. And it's I would have figured that when he pulled out the thermal detonator in Jabba's palace, that thing would have leveled Jabba's palace. That's what I was expecting out of that thing.
Exactly. Well, maybe I'm thinking they got some off-brands, because there's a part where a guy throws a thermal detonator on the bridge and just rolls and nothing happens. Right. You go back and see it. So I think they had low quality. Maybe they did the best top brand because they're pirates. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. But I loved how they did it. Like the moving fight on vehicles that don't exist was really badass. But one complaint I have on the vehicles is I think 10-wheel drive would give you a much smoother experience.
Yeah, you think?
Than they were getting on that ride,
I think this whole episode about not shopping at a Kmart in space because poor, tires and thermal detonators are not.
They went to Rent-A-Wreck to get their transports. And
there's some low quality weapons and.
But how about that at the end? TIE fighters to the rescue. When's the last time you thought that?
You would never be happy to see TIE fighters, but I love seeing TIE fighters. So it was yeah.
Oh yeah, I love that it was. Here they come to literally save the day. And even Bill Burr comments on, when are you ever happy to see stormtroopers?
Well, the thing is really cool is that they actually hit targets, but the only reason I thought they hit them because they looked like dirt and they're shooting random and they just happen to hit people because they actually hit their targets. So these are special stormtrooper pilots. They should get some awards or some time off or something.
Absolutely. And even the stormtroopers of the bridge, when they were shooting across at the regular people, they were surprisingly accurate. But it's kind of like the armor. The armor is completely useless until Din's wearing it, and now it works okay.
But it was still cool, though. It was a pretty cool scene. They're all cheering and saluting, which is you don't see, them actually celebrating. I don't think we ever seen Star Troopers celebrated.
That actually brought me to, or made me think of the original Mass Effect, because when you're running around on the Normandy, it's all military. Mm-hmm. So every guard at every door gives you a salute, and stuff. And I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, it was a good scene. That whole thing, including that whole tension scene with what was his name, Valen Hess. Mm-hmm. The guy Mayfield I recognized, and just how intense all of that was, and you can just see he was boiling, man. Bill Burr was mad as fuck on that.
But what made me laugh, and this is just more of an inside joke for Ross, when Din looked at Mayfield and shook his head no, don't do it. He knew where he was going. He said, no, man, don't do it. It's I got that from a lot of my friends. I said, I know that look. I know that look very well.
And I love that there's absolutely no question and no possibility that anyone can ever argue that Mayfield shot first.
He made damn sure he shot first.
Dude, he wiped the guy out, just point blank, boom. And that whole scene, they were literally outside going, oh, where are they? Gunfire breaks out. Oh, there they are.
I guess they got what they needed. But, man, that was awesome. But you knew where it was going. You knew this is where it's going to turn south. I mean, you're going to have drinks at the table of your enemy. It doesn't end well. It doesn't. It doesn't. But I tell you, like I said, I love that shake of Din's head. Nah, man, let's just get out of here.
Yeah, we got it. Come on, let's move. And then their escape route and everything, when they do finally get up to the roof. And that's why I'm thinking from what Mayfield did, that shot he did at the end of the show where he blows up the Rhydonium or whatever it was called. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to come into play in the last fight. He's going to be a sniper for them. Because for one thing, how is he going to even get off that planet? They are going to know where to find him. He doesn't have a lot of options.
Well, we'll see.
He doesn't have any money. He doesn't have any connections. He doesn't have anything right now. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, you know what? You pulled a good point there because he did show off a badass skill that he has. Because even the girl Kara's character, she
commented on it.
She commented on it, but it was just herself. So right there, heck, man, you never know. He could be one of the Rangers of the New Republic. I mean, he could be, because I'm thinking it's going to be her and the Asian chick and this guy now. And I'm thinking about after talking about this episode, those could be the Rangers of the New Republic. Who knows? I don't freaking know.
Well, I mean, they got a little bit of trust from him when they let him go at the end. Well, maybe he didn't make it out of the thing because they're wiping his record clean if they report him as dead. You know, they won't be looking for him. Mm-hmm. You know, and
possibility.
The one thing I wanted to comment on was the Slave One flying right overhead of the rooftop fight with real people in the shot. Like that was movie quality. That was big screen quality.
That was cool. I know the shot you're talking about. And you just see it go right over the top of the screen. Like a complete flyover. Yeah, I know.
Oh my god, it looked so cool. Nice and was so buttery. You know, everything on it was just perfect.
Buttery.
It just looked great, man. It really was. And that's the stuff because they obviously had to CG that.
Oh yeah, but it was just butter. It was just straight butter.
It was done so well. It was just like, oh man, yeah. And then at the very end, this is just something I thought was interesting. At the very it wasn't at the end, but in another episode, Moff, and even in the little run up to this episode, the previously on, they had Moff Gideon saying that Grogu, quote unquote, means more to me than you will ever know, and Din Djarin on his little. Like, I find it hilarious that the chick that received that message is like, oh, Moff Gideon, here's the message for you. Let's play it for everyone to see.
Yeah, man. Like, put him on Punk Street. Hey, everybody, let's Punk go off on this message, man. Check this out. Watch this. Watch it look in his face. Let's play this tape. Yeah, man.
And he finishes by saying that Grogu means more to me than you will ever know. The exact same words. I love that he turned it around on him.
Yeah. Because that just pissed him off.
Yeah, and their fight is going to be so insane. Like, I wonder if it's going to really come down to a physical fight, you know, because...
Well, what did we learn? That here's what I picked up, okay? It may not be a lightsaber fight, because one, Mando has never fought... Did he fight someone with a lightsaber? Oh, he did. He fought Ahsoka. All right, so hold on. Let me start.
And the lady at the end, and he could use the Beskar
sword
thing
or the
spear, you know, to in that fight. So that's possible.
Man, it would be. I don't think they're gonna have a.
And it wouldn't be lightsaber; it would be dark saber. Oh my god, yes.
Well, they gotta have a payoff of them fighting, but what would be the big cliffhanger? I think the cliffhanger should be. The reveal of the Jedi, or they're going to show Thrawn. It's going to be one of the two, because that's what's going to happen. You're going to see them. Oh, you know what? Yeah.
The cliffhanger from last season was that the Darksaber and Moff Gideon were coming into this season.
Yeah.
So we might have something like that. There may be somebody completely new introduced.
Well, so what could happen is Gideon just gets in. Mando's face and start wiping pretty good, and then a Jedi comes in and blocks it, and it's Mace, black on black lightsaber fights, man. That would be cool. That would be really cool.
I don't know. At this point, I don't even want to see Jedi. Like, I love what they're doing, so it's like I just want to see Mando fight this guy, you know.
But they called it Jedi though. You have to. So what? That's what I'm trying to say. It has to be where. Gideon's just in on him. He has to be. He has to be dominating.
The big cliffhanger could be the Jedi that arrives. Like, he could arrive, walk off the ship. They don't really show you who he is, or maybe they do. I don't know. But that could be the cliffhanger ending: is who arrived, like who did the answer.
That would be what. If you want to capture that serial feeling that Lucas wanted originally, then you give them a cliffhanger for them to talk about for the next year, because here's what you got to keep in mind. This is how I look at this final episode. I hope I'm not building up too much. I'm trying not to here. But season 2 has been just epic. I can't think of an episode I didn't really like that much. I mean,
each episode's better than the last.
Exactly,
with the exception of episode 2, which was all right.
What was 2 again?
The spider thing episode. It wasn't a bad episode, but it didn't feel like it was really...
What was I think the only thing, what did we learn from that one, is the rebels are doing, they're pulling people over. I don't know.
That the rebels are doing the job of policing the galaxy.
Yeah, all right.
They are filling the gaps that the Empire once controlled.
Yeah.
For a small part, because there is still big gaps. They obviously don't have the industry and the manpower that the Empire had to where they can take over everything again. But that's what makes it interesting. When you do get, your foot in somewhere, you better fight to keep it because you gotta, you know what I mean? You need to maintain your stronghold there. So
now the big question is this, in my opinion. Now in this episode, the one character has not been in this. This character has been in every episode but this one, and I'm talking about Goku. All right, he was not seen at all. Now, would you show him again in this next episode, or leave them not knowing what's going on? Because I think it puts so much stress on the audience is that we don't show Baby Yoda for the rest of the season, and just deal.
Well,
with
absolutely. There's people that are definitely tripping right now that they didn't see him in this episode.
Yeah, and
people get very worried for the characters they love on TV. So yeah,
it would. I still think that I'm just putting this out there. I think they can still tell the story without showing Baby Yoda, especially if we're not going to rescue him in this episode. It's going to be zero rescue.
I agree with you. My point would be during the clip episode on Happy Days, there were people at home that genuinely thought that Richie was not going to survive till the end of the episode.
I was one of them. I fell for it. Don't die, Richie.
Like that was me. I was always so cynical. I've been very cynical most of my life. And I remember thinking, it's another 10 minutes, he'll be fine.
You're an animal, you're a robot, you have no feelings.
That's I used to have this chick that I hung with that called me her black-hearted friend.
That's awesome. But it'll be what'll be cool for me is that this next episode, these are my predictions, that they don't show Baby Yoda. And of course, it could probably be the first thing that's shown in this next episode. That they don't show Baby Yoda. There's a surprise Jedi that shows up that we have no clue, and it's a great cliffhanger.
I'm Bob the Jedi.
That they didn't resolve this. What if it's like freaking Hayden Christensen comes back and because keep in mind who got that call? Did Sith people or people who are on the dark side? I mean, are people force sensitive? I mean, was it like a direct call to Jedi's only? So
for the Hayden Christensen part, Vader's dead, so there's no.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, my point is, was this call only for Jedi's only? So I mean, could someone
you think maybe the Force kid from the end of episode 7 will show up?
Well, was he even born yet? No.
The Forcen or Forfin?
The Force.
I don't know what an orphan with the Force is called.
Tricord. That's terrible. That's so bad. So he wasn't even born yet, so no. I believe that could open a villain. It'd be crazy if freaking Darth Maul shows up and trying to save this kid. Oh, who knows? It'd be awesome. But I'm thinking they're going to reveal a Jedi, and it'll be badass that they still couldn't get the kid yet. Or even maybe Boba Fett dies in this episode. Who knows? It's so up in the air right now, and that's why I'm like, the fact that I have so many different scenarios I can think of, that's how excited about this last episode, and I cannot wait to Friday to see this final episode, and then be pissed for another year, like I did.
Well, and that's a good point, because the fact of the timeline that we're in, anybody can die. Boba Fett can die. The chick that's running with him can die. Bo-Katan could come back and get killed in the last episode. Like, we literally don't know.
Yeah, well, they set up for a big... not really, but there's people that can come in Boba Fett's aid. But
that's what I think next episode is going to be, is him putting together... him getting the collection of people to do that final fight.
So he can say, we're now an army! Roll credits for season 3. Yeah.
And that would keep people talking, man. If Baby Yoda was not rescued by this last episode, you want to talk about people talking? Oh my God, what's going to happen to Baby Yoda?
He says, they're all fighting. He just stop. He just says that to everybody. Everybody's all shit. Here will be freaking badass. This is my biggest wish. Wouldn't it be amazing that the final episode is like an hour and a half long? Like it's almost like a movie, like a really good, season finale. Because they've been doing like 30 minutes here, an hour there. Would you like to see something that happen? Like they really, hey, this has been a badass season, and the last episode is an hour and a half because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Or
dude, the way this season's been going, they could do a 24-hour episode, and I'd be fine with it.
You'd be cool,
and I would watch it.
Yeah,
all the way through.
Yeah, that's what's so cool about this series.
I'd keep Star Wars, big ass Gatorade bottle so I could pee in it, and I would just sit and I wouldn't leave the screen. I'd be glued to this thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing amazing about the Mandalorian. So it gives me hope that I'm hoping for a real gut-wrenching finale. Like, damn it, I can't wait. So hopefully they set up for that kind of thing. I'm putting money on we don't see Baby Yoda, and I think we will see a Jedi. I say reveal who he is, but we will see a Jedi. Then we're gonna try and guess who it is, and that'd be a smart thing to do. Leave it on a big cliffhanger, and make those people come begging for their service. I'm paying for the next 2 years right now. Just get that kind of response. All right, so that's pretty much it. So the only thing is that if I was Gideon, I'd be pissed off at what's name brought my message and blow it up in front of everybody.
Absolutely,
but
put
oh my
him
God,
on blast, man!
I tell you, yes. One more thing. Bonus. Did you hear the Easter egg that Mayfield dropped in this episode? Did you catch the phrase that he used? It's from a movie.
Probably, but I can't think of it.
He told Din, we gotta go because we have TPS files to file.
Oh, totally, yeah. The Office Space film.
That killed me. No one got in the room but me. I looked at Tiny. She's like, I don't know the hell you're looking at. She was looking at me like I was crazy. I thought that was funny. I said, no one got that. Of course, they don't know the reference. None of these fools seen this movie. Only me.
And even if they had, it's not super memorable. Like, you got to be a movie nerd to really remember that kind of stuff.
Definitely. So I was cool with it, and I thought that was funny. But yeah, only one I got the joke was me. No one else got it. I was like, wish I had some cooler friends with like watch Mandalorian with me.
Hey,
So that's.
But no, you're right though. That little quick reference, and I wonder if any of this was improv or how. I wonder how tight to the script he had to stick.
I would say.
There are a lot of things right. It sounds like it's improv, and you're like, oh, wow, they stuck closer to the script than I ever imagined.
I personally think that's why they cast him to find the quirks. I'm telling you, no Star Wars writer writing sweaty stormtrooper joke. I don't think so. And that TPS is for deep cuts for whatever. That's something. I think that was funny. So I doubt that they wrote that.
It was really funny. Mm-hmm. But it clearly wasn't memorable because I knew he said it, but I didn't remember. I caught it at the time, and then it went right out my head.
Well, yeah, it's not like a real Star Wars reference, ding on the nose, like
what I loved is in that scene because as he's literally just told the guy that Din can't hear because of a depressurization thing, and then they're walking away, and he's all, "You're not dismissed," and they both stop, and it's like right now I know Din's lying about not being able to hear.
Yeah, but we can do that. I'll be happy to nitpick every episode, but I try not to. I'm still saying, I still say this. I can watch it for here's what I gotta do. Everybody, when I do a show, I'll watch it for the first time as a fan, as an 8-year-old, 12-year-old, whatever I was at the peak of Star Wars. I'm able to be in that mindset when I watch it. The second time around, then I'm looking at it as as for the reviewing or talking about with Ross here. So I'm able to separate myself, and this show still allows me to do that. Rise of Skywalker, no! No, that didn't happen! No! But luckily,
too many flaws, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's like, come on, man, I'm disappointed. I wanted to cry in the theater. I wanted to cry. Anyway, I digress. But Mandalorian is saving my love for Star Wars, and I'm happy they're doing an awesome job. And will it jump the shark one day or jump the Sarlacc pit? We'll be the first to tell you, because it happened to another show that we watched. It came to a certain point, and we say we're done with the show. So hopefully, Mandalorian will be going forever. I'm happy with it.
Right now, that's where I'm at. I don't have no issues. I'll watch this till the end of time. Mm-hmm. And so we're a little bit over time, speaking of time. And we're going to call it here. But thanks so much for joining us once again. I'm Mother F. Ross.
And I'm Tony Lamarr out here in Austin, Texas.
And I'm Mother F. Ross in Los Angeles, California. Exciting. We can't travel anywhere because of the damn COVID. But hope everybody's healthy and safe out there. And have yourselves a wonderful week. We'll see you next week, okay?
Later.
This is the way.